as James said, this started off as, it's called epigraphs, and in the book it's a single sequence of 100 epigraphs. Because I've gone to a reading where there was, I've got no problem with epigraphs before poems, I use them all the time, but there was a particularly pompous reader who introduced, I think, 3 or 4 different epigraphs before the poem, and all the epigraphs were so much better than the poem, so I thought, maybe you don't need, maybe the epigraphs are the poem, and yeah, so it started off as 5, and then James asked, and I said, oh, actually, there's 100, and he went, oh, and so, yeah. Every time I've read these, I've done it slightly differently. I've done stuff with projections. I've tried doing it without reading the source, like only reading the quote and not telling where it's from. What I'm going to do tonight is read the quotes and pause and give you the source, or like a hint of what the source was as well. And in the time I've got, I think I'm going to get through about a third of these. So, so you can buy the book and see what happens at the end. Yeah. Okay. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Is of course Robert Herrick. Every night I cut out my heart, but in the morning it was full again. On Dutch is the English patient. I like my evil like I like my men. Evil. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Realize that the grieving process will heal all wounds. Realize that the grieving process will not take forever. Time will eventually feel all wounds, including this death. It's an eHow article called How to Mourn the Death of a Dog. I see dead people. From the Simpsons. Though they sink through the sea, they shall rise again. Dylan Thomas, Death Shall Have No Doom. It's just not something you ever expect to have to say on air. Removing the head or destroying the brain. Extraordinary. From Shaun of the Dead. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. That's Confucius. They, astonished, all resistance lost, all courage, down their idle weapons dropped. It's from Paradise Lost. Marge, I haven't learned a thing. It's from The Simpsons. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Popular expression. We joined the Navy to see the world. Well, what did we see? We saw the sea. It's lyrics by Irving Berlin from a film called Follow the Fleet. How huge it is, how empty, this great space for which I have been longing all my life. It's from Iris Murdoch's The Sea, the Sea. There was no probability of finding land in these high latitudes. From the journals of James Cook. I muddle up there for hours. From a piece by Chris McLean. The youth had to dip himself in the water also, and was changed into a small sea hare. From the Brothers Grimm. We now insist that a poem is a distinct linguistic event, a transformation of whatever elements may have ignited it. It's from Christopher Middleton's Introduction to Goethe's Selected Poems. These poems are written in parable. Robert Frost. An Englishman, an Irishman, and a rabbi walk into a bar. The rabbi says, I'm in the wrong joke. It's a joke. Great power, there must also come great responsibility. From Spider-Man. Here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine. It's Neville Chamberlain in 1938, talking about Hitler. So if on your way to work you stumble into a coffin being pulled out of a funeral parlour, is that like a bad omen? Hashtag worried. It's a tweet from Camilla. Black milk of daybreak, we drink you at night. We drink in the morning, at noon. We drink you at sundown. We drink and we drink you. Paul Salam. As a matter of cosmic history, it has always been easier to destroy than to create. Spock in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Live life like you're going to die, because you are. You'll Have Time by William Shatner. After a great misery for mankind and even greater approaches, the great cycle of the centuries is renewed. It will rain blood, milk, famine, war, and disease. In the sky will be seen a fire, dragging a tail of sparks. Nostradamus. You can read minds? Derek Zoolander in Zoolander. In the poem, nevertheless, the Ouija board gives pertinent, or at any rate, ponderable answers. It's a TLS review issues. Then felt I, like some watcher of the skies, when a new planet swims into his ken. Keats. Seeing comes before words. The child looks and recognises before it can speak. It's John Berger. Chrissy Williams just realised that the opening to the Muppet movie with a flight through the clouds is like the opening to Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will. It's one of my Facebook status updates. We're often asked, when is the best time to go to Rwanda? And the answer is usually complex. One person's best time is another's worst. It's from the Expert Africa travel website. You see him burning, dropping feet first in a composed manner, still in suspension from the housetop. It will take him forever, caught at this instant. Jeffrey Hills from The Triumph of Love. All I do is dream of you the whole night through. It's from Singing in the Rain. We all go a little mad sometimes. It's from Psycho. And these are the last 2 pages. Let guilty men remember their black deeds do lean on crutches made of slender reeds. It's John Webster from The White Devil. If I were creating the world, I wouldn't mess about with butterflies and daffodils. I would have started with lasers, 8 o'clock, day 1. It's from Time Bandits. The sad truth is that most evil is done by people who never make up their minds to be good or evil. It's from Hannah Arendt's Life of the Mind. It's not the despair, Laura, it's the hope. John Cleese in Clockwise. One of the first signs of the beginning of understanding is the wish to die. It's Kafka from his diaries. Where I grew up, in Brooklyn, nobody committed suicide. Everyone was too unhappy. It's from Woody Allen's Crimes and Misdemeanors. The man who kills himself kills all men. As far as he is concerned, he wipes out the world. G.K. Chesterton's from Orthodoxy. Dying is an art, like anything else. That's Sylvia Plath from David Matters. And I'll leave them there. And they don't all end on death. It gets better. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our 5 poets, PTA, who read much earlier in the day, Chrissy Williams, Seekers of Life, Stephen Emerson and Nathan Walker. There's books to be looked at and chat. Thank you all for coming on. another clap for the performers as well. Thank you.